1 second, guys. Let me get. Oops, keep going. McHugh's had quite the ride overnight. Cool. So, number one, I've already posted the, I believe, let me double check, guys, but I believe I posted the ES levels. Hey, good morning, Xavier. How'd y'all do overnight, guys? I did not post today's levels. Let me make sure I fixed them real quick. I'm just positive I did, but maybe I didn't. Wrong one. There we go. Ha! I did not. Let's fix it real quick. Okay. Good, Xavier. So, I talked with Bill last night, and I'm obviously a little bit frustrated, right? Because I haven't been P&L together. And before I get going, I always forget this, so let's put it in. Good morning, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Today is August 11th, 2020. Please take a moment to read the legal disclaimer up here. Basically, it says past performance is not indicative of future results. I do lose money sometimes, right? I do struggle sometimes, just like every other trader, right? That's part of being a day trader, right? There's no magic bullet that makes you bulletproof and immune to every type of price action. And I deal with psychological issues just like any other trader would, right? And I think that's important to communicate because it's not an easy business, right? We can make it easier, but it's not an easy business, right? So please don't follow me blindly. Take what you like, leave the rest. I'm sharing my trade plan with you in hopes it makes you a better trader, but it's not for everybody, right? Please consult your registered financial advisor and your risk trading plan before ever investing or trading any financial instrument. And don't day trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Period. End of sentence. There's nothing else to discuss on that, right? It's just very, very simple. So let's keep going here real quick, and let's adjust the profile. So we're still effectively one timing to the upside on ES. All right, let's fix this up here real quick so we get some clarity. There we go. So, as usual, this goes to gray, right? Why is it gray? Because I know when I trade underneath it, I want to look for potential reversals back in. As long as the trend's intact, that'll work very effectively, right? Okay. Value area has moved higher, meaning acceptance has moved higher. So that means the purple lines are value area. All right, we just scoot those on up. Throw in a new green line to mark the low of the day. And the high of the day. And I believe overnight we traded to the 70 level, which was what I was thinking yesterday anyways. Just waited to overnight to do it. And the point of control. So, we already know where's the most difficult place to trade today? Between 33.55 to 33.44. Yes, that sucks because we've been getting 10-point ranges, right? But that's what it is, right? And the hardest place between those is 33.51 to 33.48 to establish. So we already know that what the market wants to do generally, rule of thumb, not what it's going to do today, just rule of thumb, market's going to want to trade from lower levels back to the point of control unless we have a release and a long liquidation to the downside. But the assumption can be it's going to try to make it back, as it does almost every day, back to the TPO point of control at some point. So outside in, right? And that strategy works better in a raging bull market, long versus short. And you have to remember skill level sets, right? So a great example of that would be skiing, right? So I suck at skiing, snowboarding in particular. I'm horrible at it. Like nobody, if you wanted a video of how horrible someone can be, you'd videotape me snowboarding, right? So when I go and I'm sitting next to someone who knows how to snowboard, and I go, "Where are you going?" He's going to go, "Oh, I'm going down the Black Diamond," right? And I go, "Where are you going?" I go, "Well, I'm looking for the bunny hill," right? I basically want the easiest, softest way down the mountain, right? Skill levels are different for different people, right? Shorting right now is harder than going long in most cases, okay? That being said, I'm having difficulty executing my own process because part of the problem with refining and finding great entries is that you over refine or you over try to be too good. So I'm going to go through yesterday real quick and show you the setups, both in ES, NQ, and CL, because I've made an adjustment and I want y'all to make an adjustment as well. And it's not anything new. It's the same thing we've been going over the whole time, right? It's the same thing of having a checklist and adding up pieces so that you get that great trade. So let me print this real quick. And remember, once you actually, I need to put a little anomaly right here. At value area low, there's an anomaly there. So that's why there's a yellow and purple. Okay? And then let me save it and print it. There we go. And that's overnight. We actually overshot the 70, which there's nothing wrong with that. You can see it held it all night long. Here, I'll make this bigger. You can see we pushed into the 70 early in the morning, rejected out, came back to the low, pushed all the way back to the 70. Second time in, weaker, pushed above, backside tested, held the 70, backside tested. And if we get underneath, that'll be an over-under on that anomaly. It would actually be somewhat bearish. Really what you need to turn sentiment at all is the ability to close below and hold below a prior day's low. And we haven't done that in, it's been a while, right? It just hasn't been happening. And clearly, the overall trend there is up. I'm going to throw one more thing on there. From yesterday's low to the overnight high, the 50-60. Now, there's two pieces about this that are important, right? Number one, there's two levels that we're looking at here. See how the value area low now is the 61.8 retrace on the fib? If you get behind that and then fail to get back above the 33.54, so I'm going to say that again so you can write it down. Getting behind 33.48 and then failure to get above 33.54 opens us up for long liquidation to retest 33.28. Okay? Secondly, see this rally off of what's effectively European low. I know London low is a little bit over here, but this is where that rally began. We are right in this 50-60. Why is this important now, right here? Okay? Because this, if we get behind the 62, if we get behind 33.65, so it goes in stages. You get behind 33.65, failure to recover or get back above 33.67, again, opens the door to a downside test at 33.57, right? So that's stage one failure. This is stage two failure. It opens us up to a downside move. I'm not bearish, right? But I want to know where the rallies are failing and what that looks like, right? It doesn't always hold true, so I'm going to give you an example here. See over here where you go, clearly this is where that rally started. We clearly got behind the 62 retrace. So remember what I said. The key there, if we'd been over here, I would have said, do not get back above and hold above 33.38, right? So in a raging bull market, that particular setup's going to have more failures than in a balanced market or a downward market, right? So I'm going to scoot back one more time so everyone can see where this actually works, right? That would be a good word. I don't have enough days left on this. Let's do it real quick. I think I can do it with 30 days. Okay, so as I come back, you can see it's been a long time since it's actually failed. Okay, see on this leg over here, so there's two legs going on. I'm going to show you how this scales. See from here to here, right? It pulled back, it got behind the 62 retrace, and it continued. But see where this rally started. If you went from this point here, which is the bottom of that afternoon swing, and we would call this the culmination of the swing high. So swing low to swing high, right? And how would I know that sellers have taken over? I would measure from here to here. Okay, so see once I get to the 62 retrace, see how it doesn't hold? I mean, it holds, excuse me. But see over here, we actually close behind the 62 retrace, and then we fail to even get back to test at 33.52. That's how I know that there's a potential for a roll to the downside. When I look a little bit to the left, I want to keep emphasizing this because eventually, right, we're going to roll down. There's no question in my mind about that. Eventually, we will roll down. So I'm looking at stages, right? So obviously, all of this has just been straight up. So let's get out of this for a second here. Let's come back here. Okay, this is a great example right here. So clearly, without any argument, that would be a swing low. This would be a swing high, right? Once it gets, see how they try to hold the 50? They try to hold the 62, closes behind the 62, failure to even get back above the 62 retrace, long liquidation, right? Long liquidates again, and you can do it the other way as well, right? So when you're looking at this, however long it takes us to finally get here, what you're going to see, so I'd start measuring, like that's clearly the last swing high into the swing low. So I would know we're going to have an upside break. One of the ways I would know is we get above that 62 retrace and we'll hold it, right, with failure to get back below the 50 retrace. So see how impulse moves, backside test is 62, and then starts pushing to the upside. So it works on both sides, right? So for today, that being an example, to start with, to really go, oh, we have a chance of going down, I got to see us trade behind 33.65. Okay? My bigger clue would be behind 33.48, excuse me, 33.35, and a failure to recoup the 33.38. So now I have structure to the day that I can start making larger picture trading decisions with, right? I'm going to print this off real quick. And again, the key is the zone. So remember, if I lose this zone, ideally the market would want to travel down to 33.42 anyways, and then we'll see what happens from there. That is a valid anomaly. And then underneath there, I just want to go through these. Prior day's low, potential trap area, 33.22. 33.16 to 33.15 is a weak anomaly, but it is an anomaly. 33.10 comes next. There's a white zone at 33.06 to 33.04. If we get all the way down there, I will be long first time into 33.06, 33.04, smaller size, and then I'll wait for the algos to set up from there. And then we have a Dalton's gap fill at 3,300 and a quarter, and there's an anomaly there, so it's actually an anomaly and Dalton's gap fill. And if we get below 3,300, we'll go back to the chart and update. Okay, and above here, I got zip. I just don't have anything above 33.69. There's no naked points of control on all-time highs. So again, I'm not bearish until I see evidence that it makes sense to be any kind of bearish, and I'm actually just going to print down to this anomaly down here. Okay, and then there's the 50-60s within this structure, and they'll change. Obviously, if we go make a new high, I'll have to redraw. So let's print this. Edit, copy chart to BNP. Yes. 0811. Save. Yes, you do, Peter, but I'm right there with you, brother, so no judgment. There you go, guys. It's posted. And I'll post it on StockTwits for anybody who's listening on YouTube and Twitter. posted. So what I wanted to show you all on ES is very clear, very simple, no confusion. Okay, we're on a 1 1/4 range, right? Let me go back to yesterday. So when you're having difficulty, which I am, go back to simple, right? Okay, not counting, not counting, um, not counting stopped out locations, right? We're going to go from the morning, and I'm going to show you the setups, the stops, and the ones that didn't stop. So here's 8:30, right? I'm going to make this big. There's lines. So with no knowledge of where my levels are, right? This bar right here, so as we're coming up, I'm looking for my last verified bar. This is my last verified bar right there. I'm going to make that big so everyone can see it clearly. Okay? That's the algo firing telling me, hey, boatloads of energy. That single blue bar is as good as any double arrow. Bar gets verified. Draw a line underneath it. I get a bar specifically with a point of control. That's all I need. Point of control underneath the point of control of that bar, preferably with a price that closes underneath. So it's this bar, that's my short right here. Gets backside tested right here, rolls down, right? Comes back for one more backside test, which is a 50-60 retrace. Again, you'll notice they fail to close above with a point of control, and down it rolls. As we're coming down, this is where I had difficulty, right? So what am I looking for? A verified bar. Oh, and then there's one more piece. Once you get the arrow below that, so this is the setup over here, right? And then once I get the arrow below, which would have been this double arrow right here, but it can be any arrow. Once I get the arrow below, that tells me momentum is switched and we're ready to release to the downside, right? So 3 steps. Verify, algo fires, bar gets verified, right? Bar gets verified, close underneath, arrow down below. I'm going to enter on this bar and I'm waiting for this bar to appear, and that gives me a clue that they're ready to release to the downside. Then this is where I had difficulty yesterday, right? We're pushing down. I'm looking for a verified bar. This is my last verified bar. This bar is not verified. Oh, wait, excuse me. I stand corrected. This bar did get verified. Oh, no. I'm right. It's this bar. Sorry, ADD time. Not verified. Now this bar is verified, right? At this point, we trade underneath. This bar becomes verified, all right? Here's the point of control of that bar. So I want a point of control and a price above, okay? This bar does not get verified, so I don't get the apex. I clearly have a stopped out buyer over here to the left that I got to get above, right? Verified bar, close above, there's my arrow up, so entry here, and if I want to add here because I've got the arrow up, or if I want to start adding on pullbacks, because that tells me momentum is switched, and that's our day in a nutshell, right? And if you look at the short later in the afternoon, I'm going to roll over. So notice, this bar does get verified. You'd have gotten stopped here, except notice that this bar also got verified, and as soon as you closed above, you had to flip. It gets backside tested and pushes, right? No verified bar for shorting over here. Nothing. Now, if you look over here, right, again, this bar clearly got verified, right? You got to get price and point of control to close underneath. You get that. You even get an arrow closing underneath. This is my last verified bar. I simply don't want to close above this bar. I'd have been stopped if I shorted there, which is fine. If you're on process, stops are part of the deal, and that's no big deal, right? Because if you come along to the right over here, you'll notice on the push up, right? So then you get to the apex up there. This becomes my last verified bar to the upside. Go to the right, and you'll see you never got triggered short. See the rebound there? And then right over here, well, it was at the close, so it doesn't really count. There's no way I would have ever traded it. But right over here, verified bar, close underneath, arrow down, and if you shorted there, you obviously got the rip there. So on my count, there was 2 stops potentially and 3 big wins, right? 2 big wins, the third one doesn't count, right? That's what I'm looking for. It repeated it in Q. Here, I'll show you overnight. Here's Asia. Here's your verified bar. Here's your close underneath. Now notice, this arrow did not come, right? This arrow did not come above the verified bar. This one did, right? And that's what gave you your final leg up here. This is your last verified bar for the short side. There's the close underneath. There's the arrow down, right? Let's see how that would have worked out. Here's your stop. As soon as you close, because this bar got verified, again, the short's the harder side of the trade. That actually triggered long again and went. And then if you look at 3 in the morning as we're pushing up here, so this is my last verified bar right over here. Right? So if this triggers, I don't want to close above this bar. Right? Okay. So we close above. Did the point of control get above? You still don't get a positive bar with a point of control above. Let's see what it does. And that's where we are right now. Right? So I did not get the turn off the high, and that happens sometimes overnight. Maybe on the 1 range it was there because it was slower. But that is what we are that is what we're looking for. So this morning, this bar is verified right over here if you're looking for the long, right? And again, between this 7 a.m. right down here, 7 to 8:30, I don't trade in that area because you tend to get this. But after the open, we'll see where it goes, right? But that is clearly what we're looking for. Then you add in stopped out buyer, stopped out seller, anomalies, and outside of value and inside of value. That is simply what we're looking for. Also remember, while NQ is weak, ES is strong. There's a rotation coming out of NQ and into ES, and so I'm looking for reversals there. I'm going to cover CL really quick. Same concept without levels, and I have to go through and do the CL levels, so I'm going to start doing that in the evening. If you go back to overnight, see how we came down, right? And this is starting European session out of Asia, right? There's no verified down bar through here. There just isn't, right? This is my verified down bar on the retrace. Actually, it's not verified either. It's this one. The super bar gets verified. Closes above. Backside tests that bar. There's the bottom of the bar. And pushes. And then on top, so I'm looking for a verified bar. Now, the only thing that I'll do sometimes is look to get into the very apex of the trade and try to get it verified up there. But generally, if we get underneath, like once this bar gets verified and I get underneath it, right, I know that I have a pretty good shot at going lower. Your stop, you have to be willing to take the trade twice, and it's, you know, again, that pushed right into the 8 o'clock session. But that's right now, that's where we're at. I would still count this trade as having been viable. The only thing is I don't want to take more than 20 cents worth of loss on a particular trade, right? So on CL, I'm pretty much going to be doing this. I can show you how my entry is going to be modified. What I want it to do is once I close underneath here, so this is my last verified bar. Once I close underneath, I simply don't want it more than a penny or two back above here. So my stop is going to be between 7 and 10 cents on this, with a willingness to take the trade 2 times in a row. If it stops and sets up again, I'll take it twice for a total of about 14 to 20 cents plus commissions in this area. But I don't want to put the stop all the way up here because 30 and 40 cent stops just kill my trading for the day. So on CL, it has to work. It does work, by the way, in terms of pushing right out. What it should look like is this. So let's pretend this bar got verified. It didn't. But let's pretend. Verified. Right? Closes above, clearly there. I just want to, so from wherever I enter 38 cents, I'm going to put a dime stop on it. Right down here. And I want it to push away just like this. Once I get my scale, I don't mind the backside test, but I'm going to shoot for a 10-cent scale since I'm going to have 10 cents worth of risk, and then let the rest of the trade work, right? And that's what will allow me to put on size on that trade. And then I don't want more than 2 stops in an hour. So any questions about that, guys in the room? We just opened up. I would not put too much trust in continued downside moves. We've just shown no ability. Money's rotating down to the dogs, right? Dogs of the Dow, the bottom performing stocks have been pushing. So, and then our hourly shows that we're riding at 39.69 to 67. And my guess is if we have any kind of balanced day, we'll push back into that 51. Let's see if they can actually do it. So, and go from there. And on the 1 1/4, just so you have it, if we're going to be long, again, the majority of your stops, fast stops, are going to come early in the morning. You need to get above this point. That's our last verified bar down. And I need to bring up my key chart. My NQ just got slaughtered. What was the news there? It swept the whole value area again. The whole damn thing. Oh, someone's not muted. Let me take care of that. NQ's ranging 30 points in seconds, just FYI. If you're trading it, be ready, because that bad boy is just moving. Down 65. And below, currently trading below value area from prior day. You'll usually find a response there. Back up. So I have no idea why NQ and ES are so off the charts detached. It really makes day trading hard when those two markets aren't flowing together. One's up, one's down. And then Peter's been keeping an eye on the Russell. Peter, any insights or any levels you're looking at? $16.09. Got it. For what market is $16.09? Russell? Took out the prior hour's low just now on NQ. That's very commonplace. To find a reversal. Unable to trigger the long on ES. Next level is 10928 on thank you. And it seems a little panicky there to me, but whatever, I don't know what the news is, so they can just do whatever they need to do. Again, it's swinging 30 points in seconds, so you're trading it, and it's obviously one time to the downside on the hourly. You're low on tap on NQ. Wow, they're just crushing that thing. I don't understand why they're crushing it, but they are. And they don't have to give me a reason, but damn. All I can say is turns will be ugly whenever they come. New low. Does anyone have any news on NASDAQ that I'm missing, guys? Now, that's an odd response. I'm on shit like I got no long signal at all. You should have witnessed a nasty little short squeeze up. There we go. So here's an example where early in the day you got this bar verified. See how they got the price and the point of control above and it came back for another low. So this bar is also verified. So I have it long right now, and I will attempt a backside test if they'll push back down 33.65 against the low. if they'll give it to me. I probably missed it already because I saw that set up and I was just a second late. But it's not location, right? Like we're just inside this anomaly is all it's doing. Okay, and they're busy smacking NQ shorts who are late to the party. Up 60 points off the low, $1,200 contract, just like that. Life can be cool. And that's why I don't sweat that first half hour, right? But if you look, we got our stopped out buyer, we got a verified bar to the downside, you closed above. Over here, you had your stopped out buyer to the left, this guy, right? What we don't have yet is an arrow up. We need an arrow up for verification, and CL's not there yet, but I will take CL when it sets up. And to stay very focused on that particular setup, verified bar, look for your stopped out buyers, getting above those guys, stopped out sellers on the short side, right? I know that's counterintuitive, but it works. I like to test value area low on NQ. Don't have an arrow up yet confirming the move up on ES. Told you that squeeze was coming. Nasty, nasty. NQ is almost completely untradeable, just FYI, it's moving so fast. I don't see how you can trade more than 5 contracts on it. Below 10,992, and NQ has plenty of room to retest the low. They were unable to put a fractal into the low, by the way, which often, though not every time, indicates that they're going to come back and attempt to do that. We just don't know when or how. Or it can be this afternoon, it can be in 20 minutes from now. Too fast for me to trade with any kind of size. So I'm just watching. Well, you knew that was coming. And the squeeze on NQ was epic. To the upside, that was great. And ES too. I guess I should have taken ES as soon as it triggered. I never got the, I wanted the 3060 at backside tested, the 65. I didn't get it. And so for the first half hour, it was going to have to be perfect, so it's okay. We're going to take NQ positive. Wow. What a just smoking in the morning of people who are goofy footed on their entries. And that's a roll off the low there on NQ. It triggered long. Wow, I just couldn't hook it up, but from once it got verified, that was a roll from 89 to 42. That's really crazy. I sure wish I could have done something with that. At some point, they're going to have to address the illiquidity in NASDAQ, or it's going to lead to some ugly down days. What was the news that trampled? Did anyone see anything that trampled it this morning? No short setup yet. Technically, yes, it's triggered short there. I will attempt it on a backside test of this bar. Let's stop just above 73. So 69.50 backside test. That aligns itself with the anomaly as well. So if that works out, fantastico. If it doesn't, fantastico as well. Again, the short side's been the hard side of the straight all along, right? So you can wait for the long setup, but we're not even getting a reasonable dip to do it. So we'll see. That'll be scratched now because if you get above, you'll be above this fractal. You don't want to short into that. So scratch that. Then backside test quick enough. We have head and shoulders on NQ on the 5 range. We're pushing up to that left shoulder now. And NQ is just off the chain, that's all I can say. 20 points in 3 or 4 seconds. I don't have any other way of describing that besides completely unplugged and unglued. I don't have a verified bar on the downside. What we did is backside tested this bar right here, which is exactly what I wanted to do earlier. I just wanted the test to come over here. I wanted it to do this, pop over here. Once it makes the extension, this is more vulnerable to being broken. It's 8:53 a.m., so yeah. And it's understandable why people are buying NQ because the pattern's been to sweep that hourly bar. Right? Once that hourly bar is printed, the first down bar, we've swept it almost every single time. I'll tell you what, some clocks have gotten cleaned in NQ the last couple of days. Like it's impossible that hasn't happened because the carnage has just been enormous. I'm just waiting, guys. There's just too much. I'm just waiting until I get a clear entry. In 1.5 minutes, we went from 10,987 to 40 NQ points, and it was in under 1 minute. Under 1 minute, 50 points, 40 points. That's just mind-boggling speed and illiquidity. That would really worry me if I had a position in NQ. Not worry me like as in if I was long, the illiquidity there isn't going to be an issue getting out. And that's the kind of stuff that if it turns sell side, it gets so ugly. One minute to 9 o'clock, expect algos. And the hope is we shake and bake, right? When we get to the bottom end of the range and get shorts to overcommit so we get a beautiful rotation up. I don't want to have to keep trading. I hate being forced to buy up near the highs. It's psychologically difficult for me to do. I'm gonna go sneak a peek at the 1.5 range bar. Wow, what a mess. Look at that. Hold on a second, I'm gonna fix something here. There we go, a little cleaner. I'll get the rest of that chart cleaned up. Nothing so far. Did he give it off the high? Here was your short. Verified bar. Closed underneath. And that's where the release came. And it gave you a double verified bar, actually. It was right there too. Interesting. So this has not been verified to the downside yet. But once it gets verified underneath and you get above, it should, quote unquote, set up another push. The reason I did that is because I've noticed 1.25 is failing a little bit, so I'm going to bump to the 1.5. See if I can get a cleaner read. Let's see if they can rescue NQ one more time, down 80 again. No indication of a long on a 1.5 range. And we don't even have a zone till all the way down at 33.42. The natural target, most days you'd say would be 33.51. You know, they'll hit little responses like at 57, 55, but 51.48 is usually, on a balanced market, is achievable. Got it. Thank you, sir. I see the entry. I should have taken it. I just wasn't comfortable quite yet. I agree. Verified bar. Closed underneath. Bye-bye. I'm up on it. Thank you, Bill. Great job. Where did you enter? 62 to 38? We need about 33.64 to trigger long, so we want it to push down at this point. Got it. prior day's low on NQ is 10,928. Okay, so one of these two are going to give. ES isn't going to keep going up and NQ keep going down. Like one's going to pick up the other, right? And Nasdaq's usually a leader. It's very rare that the stocks at the bottom of the market lead the market up, right? So just remember, it's still not a bear market, right? So you'll find responsive buyers at key locations. $62 to $39 is a good trade. So what did you pop on it the first time? A nickel loss or a dime loss? 10 cents. Totally reasonable, I think. No signal for long. We're not even close. I'll keep up the 1 1/4 as well. Not verified yet. It's this blue bar right here. So I'll keep marking the lines on the 1 1/4. But when it's more volatile, as you know, we'd like to get the 1 1/2 to kick in. That's verified now. So it's 33.6175. And we are at prior day's low. Expect both panic and responses at that area and into value area high. Prior day's high and into value area high. Excuse me, I misspoke. NQ getting pretty good smackdown for the second day in a row. All right, so no setup long there yet. I'm watching. Welcome back, volatility. Awesome. Remember, if we really have a long liquidation day, your longs will fail, particularly earlier in the day. Just all there is to it. The seller's overwhelmed. And if you look at NQ, here I'll share my NQ screen. They're just beating the crap out of it on an hour. There's the hourly. They're just smoking it. So keep that in mind. They're just taking no prisoners on that, nor should they. People have had a really easy time there. When it gets too easy, and there's no sellers below, there's just no shorts in NASDAQ. In terms of actual professional shorts, who's defending below? Like, there's not an area that's been tested or retested or where we've built anything. It just leaves these massive air gaps underneath. So the process has worked, right? We haven't gotten smoked long. It did set up short if you wanted to take it. I didn't, right? For obvious reasons, but as soon as I see that we have two ways, I will go and beat the crap out of it. I have no problem doing that. A little bit more to 10.928 to yesterday's low. A little bit more. No long setup. Remember, I can wait all day for the right setup or for a good setup. I don't have to be, and I don't have to press when I don't understand the market, or if I don't understand the market. Remember, President Trump is supposed to be speaking later today about the vaccine deal. I don't know what time that is. If anyone has it, Joyce, if you see it, a posting of when the president might be speaking, or anyone else for that matter, that'd be great. This bar's verified now. See how you got the point of control underneath? I'd rather have the whole bar, but if you get an arrow up above this, you'll probably push back up into the president. Same thing above 10.97150 on NQ. I'd like to see the NQ push all the way, go ahead and push all the way down to that 10.928, 10.913, 10.899, any of those areas down there. Now's about the time everyone will start trying to get short NQ if you're in retail world. A little bit late for that trade. I think. Limit 33.59, stop low of the day, 33.54 for a long. 33.59, stop low of the day. Again, that's just the scalp trade. And no fill yet. Looks like I missed. Pulling the order for now. Damn. That's been the hardest part of this thing, is no backside test when it goes. Arrow up will confirm further push. 33.57, obviously prior day's low, prior day's high on ES held. We did not test prior day's low on NQ. That backside test, as long as you're willing to take the stop at 54, is still a valid location. Again, it's hard when the dichotomy is so different in the two products. But those guys got smoked on NQ again, chasing that short. And remember, ES is still up 10, NQ's up 85. And remember, every time the president has uttered the word vaccine, the market is just skyrocketed. So, I don't know when that's coming up, but I do know it's sometime today. Bill, did you grab the ES long? I did not. I needed to pull the trigger as soon as it closed above. I missed by a tick. Sitting right there, and I just didn't get it. Did anyone grab that? That was a valid long. No arrow up yet. Notice no arrow up above my last super bar. And that's what would confirm that we have a momentum shift. They're re-short at 42 cents. Got it. Okay, no problem. Another roll from 39, 70 point roll on NQ. They're fantasy rolls. Unfortunately, there's just no liquidity, but if you can trade that range, I'm just leery of staying overly comfortable short NQ. You got, so I want to show you what I was looking for. See on NQ, I got this here, so I know I don't call the trade, but okay, see the head and shoulders over here? Here's the press down into the, here I'll draw it. It's the same pattern on ES, it's just NQ has the volatility. This is what we're missing and why I'm having a harder time hooking up the trades. Left shoulder, right shoulder. Okay, so this bar was almost, so see how that we've held this? Can't get it closed underneath. So I know a close underneath there opens me up to further downside, hypothetically, if you're willing to short the lows, right? So come in, left shoulder, right shoulder, double algo down, showing they're pressing, right? I get it. I do not get this bar confirmed. See how the point of control doesn't get underneath? But I do on this bar. So I guess what I should have done is I tried for 69, and I probably should have limited 71.50 now that I look at this. Because that was the confirmation bar. I pushed you 70. Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought that was ES. I did all right there. I'm sorry. I did take this when we closed above. But the whole point was, this is where I said, hey, they're really pressing in the shorts. This is where retail shorts get triggered, right? They all try to push for that continuation, and then pop. See ya. Destruction unlimited, right? And then what you would expect is that they're going to come and poke their head above this or better before they roll it back down, and then this bar will end up getting verified. Then underneath here we can come back in for a test of 71 or areas lower. But I don't think it's a trend down day. Like, I just think everyone got a little eager on the short side there on NQ. So I would imagine it's going to keep pushing. ES is not triggered on a 1.5 or a 1 1/4 to confirm the upside momentum, while NQ has. But NQ's mega in the hole, right? ES is up 11. Notice the pace is picked up. The pace is picked up, right? So we'll have to make decisions quicker, but we also should get better responses from that process, right? Biggest wave up of the morning just got put in. You get back underneath that on NQ and on ES, I think. Biggest wave up. You get underneath that, you know, all these buyers will be trapped inside of that little area. expect algos over the next couple of minutes, heading into the bottom of the hour. Then you have IB high and IB low stats to fulfill still. No, I didn't because I couldn't watch it all at one time, but I saw the setup long on the Head and Shoulders. That's why I said that I thought they were going to trap the sellers on there. Never verified the up move. Oh, you just did. You just verified that up move on the 1.5. Never did on 1.25. That's odd. What a tug of war between NQ and ES. That is just pretty interesting. One minute till. This will be 7 days afterwards. Feels like they're trapping longs on your key now. We should have verified above this, and it hasn't yet on the 1.25. I know it did on the 1.5, but it should have done on the 1.25. So now you've got a giant head and shoulders here at the 33.59. We want to see if that 33.59 sets us up long on the test down. Find out shortly, I suppose. Remember, we're likely to go into this chop with the two markets as divergent as they are. What we really want, if we're thinking strategically, is to stop everyone out who got this the first time. Like what's been happening is the people who buy the low, they've just been turn and go all day long, right? But anyone who bought down here is just gonna have their stop sitting right there at 33.54, right? What would be great is if we could smoke everyone. So remember, we've been traveling all the way through the value area, so there's two issues. But if we can trap like with a one tick low and get a verified bar down here, that's a good trap to the upside. We want to be careful between 55 and 44 because ES has the same problem NQ has, which has been excuse me, on the chart. We've been sweeping the range on NQ. See that? The whole value area. Anywhere you put a trade in here, you just got smoked, right? Outside of value area, above or below, saves your ass, right, on the trade. And remember, we're still hunting the idea or the concept, which is true, of getting on the edges, trapping them, getting the verified bar, and then taking it. Now, doesn't mean you'll always execute properly. But if you miss it, just say, hey, I missed that setup, and go to your next setup. Don't sit there and go, oh, I've got to find some way to make it all up. Like I was at 59, and I should have been at... Why do I not see it here? Because I was over here. I should have been at, let's see, verified bar. Oh, I know. I tried to get the backside test to 59. It just didn't tag it, right? I tried to tag the top of that super bar there, and I missed by a tick. That's all. That happens. So I was 59 to 65. That's a good trade, right? So I want to keep my mentality right, because as y'all know, I do go negative sometimes on my thought process, and I try to force things after I do that. I don't want to be in that position. So we're retesting now to this 10.97.150. This is the top of that head and shoulders structure. It should get a response out of here of some sort. I don't have a setup here yet, but it's testing the top of that head and shoulder structure on NQ. And again, 30-point, 50-point ranges are pretty norm at this point. And that 59 is still a valid backside test right now. See how they came right off of it on NQ? I'm just showing y'all, NQ's harder to trade, right? But see how this was the bar that released? So we tested right into this 10.97.150. That's why I picked that off. I was like, there's the left shoulder. Tested right in the left shoulder. I need to clear this bar to know that I'm going higher, but I know that's support. So what I want to do is get a close above here, right? I'm going to get a close above here, and then manage the risk in between those 2 points, right? Don't know if I can get it. There's no rule that says I can. I wish I knew when the president was speaking. That would help me kind of set up for a push up, but I have no idea. Ah, 4:30. Okay, great. That's a good end of day short squeeze now. Perfect. We'll keep that in our back pocket. I don't believe anybody, Joyce. That's an easy question for me. Came off that 7-1 for 9-1 on NQ. And I got nothing on ES. I got NQ triggering long on the 5 range. Here. It's going to have to clear above that 1106 to really go. Now, doesn't your mind screw with you? But it went. I am not on it still, but I'm better on the read today. So I want to go back to the point I had earlier where I've been struggling for the last couple days. See how my read is back in alignment with what the market's doing, right? So getting back into a rhythm, guys. So I'm speaking specifically to the guys I coach, right? And gals. Getting back into a rhythm sometimes requires, like, I've just been missing by inches, right? So when you're moving back to the middle of the road to get good trades again, I just want my read to be in alignment with what I see. Then I have to get my actions in alignment with what I see, right? Once I can trust my read and I'm not confused. So I'm looking for something very specific, right? I'm looking for something very specific. Head and shoulders patterns, right? Like I'm going to show you on NQ because just NQ has the volatility, so it's setting up there, right? So see how I said we're going to come into a 10971. So I'm like, okay, my confidence is building. I can see that we've held that. That makes sense, right? There's my verified arrow down. See how I marked off the 10982? We closed above. I said I have NQ long. There's the arrow up verifying the long. There's the push to the long side. So now I can start plugging each of these pieces in as I go along, right? I can plug these pieces in and I build my, not my confidence that my read is somehow magical, but that I'm reading the process properly, right? And now I got to get, instead of getting frustrated, now I feel more relaxed. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I am looking for here, right? And now I can stay zeroed in on that number, on that idea, on that concept, right? And now I should be able to ease my way in because as y'all seen, I've gone, so notice how small my drawdowns have been when I've had a difficult time, right? Hasn't been a disaster. The frustration has come from near misses, right? So now what I want to do is adjust to, okay, so as everyone knows, I don't call out my trades in NQ, but I popped NQ today, both ways as a matter of fact, okay? So my confidence level rises. Then I go over and look at ES. ES has less volatility. NQ has too much volatility, right? So I popped it, but I popped it on 10 contracts, right? Not full size, okay? So, and that's because it's just an animal liquidity-wise, right? So, but on ES, if we look at the same thing here on the 1 1/4, right? Remember I said I'm looking for the arrow up? There's the arrow up, verifying the momentum has changed, right? So I'm here, right? I'm here. Now I'm here. Arrow up, verified, push, right? Verified, push. Now where do I want to get to? Now I'm going to reset my brain. Okay, well, we took out all the stops, right? We took out all the stops from over here at midnight, right? So the first place, if I'm all of us are aggressive, but less aggressive, is I want to get above this 33.72 to look for a short. Why? It's where all the stops are if you're short. Then 33.74, then 78 and 80. And we're in an uptrend. ES is not broken or traded through its value area, and we see that can be pretty easily done quite often. Okay, so back in pace, and then I need to apply it to CL as well. And if we look at CL really quick this morning, it's actually this. Verified down, left shoulder, right shoulder. That's your long, that's your backside test. You need an arrow above to confirm the push. So it's actually set up to be upside trade. So we'll keep an eye on it. Is that helpful, guys, when I show, specifically in the room, how I'm bringing myself back to the middle of the road? Does that help y'all a little bit, or is that just Simon's just talking through his own process and doesn't help me at all? Yeah, okay, good, Randy. Thank you. Good choice. Thanks, Leandro. Great, thank you, Karen. I appreciate the feedback, guys. It really helps. All I want to do is build my alignment with my read, with my action, right? That's all I want to do. And to do that, I have to, so yesterday I had the read, right? I got pissed because I wasn't long off the low, right? But also notice, because we have that process, right? We're very focused. We know we have different tools within that process, and we add some sometimes, and we remove some sometimes. Like you'll notice I've stripped down the 1 1/4 way down on information, right? So I'm stripping down, right? I know where the middle of the road is, and now we're not going, well, let me throw this indicator, that indicator, and move to a 10-minute chart and a 15-minute chart and this, that, and that. We know the process works, right? So now it's just dial it in, dial it in, dial it in, dial it in, and the struggle's part of the game, right? So that was a nice squeeze up off. And if you look at NQ, I would expect tools, price projection. Let's say this is the regular swing. 100 extension is at 11033, and that's what I'd expect us to push up to 11033, which is about another 13 points away. On ES, we'll do the 1 1/4. There's the break of the swing. So maybe off slightly, but it won't be much. 33.70, and you can see we're stopping at the 618 right now. The bigger extension would be the 33.70. Yeah, it probably will. Thank you, Joyce. Was that Fox? Can't wait to see it. Woohoo! Let's see if they've leaked it. So chill, news coming up, guys. Just FYI. So always let me know when we have it, whatever they say, if you would, please. If it's Elizabeth Warren, watch it just good as. Wow, watch it tank. Caution on the longs or the shorts, but that will move the market. I can tell you that. Not how much, but it will. Chop, chop, chop. Notice you can't get an arrow. Oh, you do have an arrow up on NQ. I was going to wait till we see this Biden deal, whatever it is. Push, push, push. Well, we'll know when he makes the announcement because the algos will take care of that, letting us know. Market's on hold, just guys. perform@gmail.com. Market's just on hold here, so we'll have to wait till the news comes out and then we'll roll from there.